There once reigned a king whose arrogance was as vast as the horizon. His palace was a monument to himself, yet he felt his grandeur was incomplete without a great royal park, a private wilderness where he could hunt without the stink of the commoner. The king declared a decree of eminent domain, a fancy term used to mask a simple theft. He decided to turn the fertile valley, where hundreds of families had lived for generations, into a private royal hunting park. He did not offer gold or new land, he offered only the threat of the sword. When his heralds read the decree, one old farmer, whose family had held their land since the dawn of the city, stood before the king's horse.
"Great king," the farmer pleaded, "this dirt is our life. If you take the field, you take the bread from our children's mouths." The king looked down from his gilded saddle, his eyes filled with a calm disdain. He did not see a man, he saw a nuisance. "Do you not understand the nature of the world?" the king mocked, his voice echoing for all the soldiers and peasants to hear. "The earth is for the strong, the weak are merely dust upon it. I do not negotiate with dust, I simply walk over it." The king's soldiers, following his lead, began to treat the populace with equal contempt. They burned barns, trampled crops, and laughed as families wept. The king rode through the destruction, smiling at the cleared landscape. He believed that fear was the same thing as loyalty, and that his power made him a god who could never be touched by the dust he trampled. One golden afternoon, while the king rode through his stolen park, he spotted a desert hare darting between the thorny salt bushes. Desiring to prove his skill as a hunter, he dismounted and drew his jeweled dagger, signaling his guards to stay back. "I shall take this prize alone," he shouted. "Watch how the strong hunt." The hare darted behind a large dune. The king sprinted after it, his eyes fixed on the flick of the hare's ears. He reached the crest of the dune, expecting to see the animal on the other side. Instead, as he stepped onto the peak, the solid ground vanished. The sand dune, acting as a perfect trap, concealed the opening of the Connaught groundwater well right beside it. The king plummeted 30 feet down the narrow, dark cylinder, hitting the bottom with a bone-shattering thud. He landed in the horizontal tunnel at the base. In the days of the farmers, this would have been a flowing stream of cool water, but because the system had been abandoned, earth had choked the flow of water. Now the great Connaught system, which once irrigated countless fields and brought life to the desert, remained only as a series of deadly, deep well traps.
Above, the circle of the sky looked like a mocking silver coin. Soon the faces of his guards appeared at the rim. "Help me!" the king shrieked, his voice cracking with a terror he had never known. "Lower your robes, tie your horse reins together and pull me up. I am your king." The captain of the guard looked down at the man who had treated them like dogs. He remembered the king's words to the farmer.
"My lord," the captain called down, his voice as steady as the desert wind, "you told us that the weak are merely dust, and that the strong walk over them. If you are truly strong, then the earth will obey you. If you are weak, then by your own decree, you are irrelevant." "I will give you gold," the king screamed. "I will give you half my kingdom."
"Your Majesty's word, it seems, carries far less weight than the shifting sands of the waste," the captain replied. The guards turned their horses. The king listened as the rhythmic hoofbeats, the sound of his own power, faded into nothingness. He was left in the absolute silence of the earth he had stolen, left to starve in the dark, buried in the very dust he had so arrogantly despised. The only thing more dangerous than ignorance is arrogance. Arrogance always comes back to bite you. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments.